All right, let's dive into one of the most epic stories you'll ever hear. Seriously, it's a tale of absolute power, unwavering faith, and a cosmic riddle so clever it required a solution that was literally out of this world.
So that's the big question, right? How do you kill a man who cannot be killed? That is the central puzzle we're going to unpack. It's a question that really sets the stage for a cosmic showdown, one where the very laws of reality have to be bent to deliver justice.
Okay, so our story kicks off with our antagonist, the demon king Hiranyakashipu. Now, after his brother was killed, he became obsessed with one single goal: to cheat death and become completely 100% unassailably immortal. Now, just look at the sheer precision of his request. This wasn't just some vague wish for power. Oh no, this was like a meticulously crafted, ironclad legal contract with the universe. He thought through every single clause to build this impenetrable fortress against death, totally convinced he had closed every possible loophole. But here's the thing. With the whole universe basically cowering before him, Hiranyakashipu's greatest challenge wasn't some rival army or another god. Nope. It was his own son, Prahlad. And Prahlad was a devout, unwavering follower of Vishnu, the very god the king hated most, the one he considered his mortal enemy. And this, right here, is the heart of the conflict. For the father, Vishnu was this hated enemy who killed his brother. But for the son, Vishnu was the father of all creation. This wasn't just a simple disagreement, it was a clash of two totally opposing realities happening right there inside the palace walls. Well, as you can imagine, the king was enraged by this ultimate act of defiance. His fury completely turned on his own child. He ordered Prahlad to be executed, which set in motion this series of miraculous events that just defied all logic. First, they brought in these massive war elephants, and their only job was to trample the boy. But Prahlad just stood there, chanting his god's name, and remained completely, totally unharmed. The elephants wouldn't touch him. So, next up, they threw him into a pit filled with venomous snakes. And yet again, same result. Prahlad was untouched. It was like his faith was this invisible, impenetrable shield. The attempts just got more and more desperate. They pushed him from a cliff and he just landed safely, like he was caught. They threw him in the sea, but the waves gently brought him back to shore. They poisoned his food and it turned into ambrosia. Literally every single attempt failed. So in this final, truly diabolical plan, the king's sister, Holika, she steps forward. Now, she had this special boon that made her totally immune to fire. The plan was just horrific. She would sit on this giant funeral pyre with Prahlad in her lap and let the flames burn him alive while she stayed safe. But this is where the divine twist comes in. Holika's boon, because it was being twisted for such an evil purpose, was simply revoked. The fire consumed her and she was burned to ash. And Prahlad? He emerged from the very same inferno without a single burn. This final, impossible survival is what completely shattered the king's sanity. Just trembling with rage, he dragged Prahlad in front of this massive stone pillar in his court and screamed that he was finally going to end his son's life with his own two hands. So his father challenges him, screaming, "Where's your god hiding now?" And Prahlad just calmly replies that Vishnu doesn't need to arrive from anywhere. He's omnipresent. He's in every single thing. He is, he says, in this very pillar. To prove his son a fool, to show that there was nothing but stone and his own supreme power, Hiranyakashipu let out this furious roar and just smashed the pillar with his mace. And in that instant, the pillar didn't just crack, it exploded. And from the splintered stone emerged this towering, terrifying, and utterly awe-inspiring being, Narasimha, the half-man, half-lion avatar of Vishnu. But you see, Narasimha wasn't just a fearsome creature. He was the living, breathing, divine answer to Hiranyakashipu's supposedly perfect, unkillable boon. And here is the ingenious, brilliant solution. The king couldn't be killed by a human or an animal, right? Well, Narasimha was both, and neither. Not by day or by night. So the moment was twilight, the time in between. Not indoors or outdoors. So Narasimha dragged him to the threshold of a doorway. Not on land, water, or sky. Narasimha placed him on his lap. And no weapon could harm him, so Narasimha used his own claws. Every single clause of the boon was perfectly, divinely bypassed. And with that, The demon king who thought he had built this impregnable fortress against death was finally slain. His reign of terror was over, and balance was finally restored to the universe.
So what should we take away from all this? Is it simply a story of divine salvation for a faithful devotee? Or is it something more? A timeless warning that no matter how cleverly you build your walls, hubris will always engineer its own downfall.